another episode of Organizing Tune-Ups with your host, Jessica Littman, the Organized Mama, where we break down big organizing concepts into small, bite-sized chunks you can do in your home for 5 to 15 minutes every day. This is our part 2 of kitchen organizing because the kitchen is the heart of the home and there usually is a lot of stuff that goes into the kitchen. So part 2 of kitchen organizing is really my methodology of the 2 ways to organize a kitchen. So last week we talked about drawer by drawer method, which is where you take out one drawer, like everything from one drawer or one cabinet, organize, declutter, take inventory and label that particular space, and then move on to the next space. That method works for a good chunk of people, but sometimes we have that, big burst of energy where we just want to declutter everything all at once. So if that's you, then the, take everything out method is what we're going to talk about today. So typically when I was doing in-home organizing, this was the only way that we would organize a house. We would take everything out of the kitchen, we would group and categorize, and then we'd put back into the kitchen in a way that made sense to the homeowner and how they used their space. So this is the method that I'm going to explain to you so that you can do this in your home if taking everything out of your kitchen doesn't seem overwhelming. So step 1 is the most obvious. Take everything out of your cabinets, of your drawers, under the sink, all of this stuff, remove it all, put it on countertops, put it on tables, put it on the floor. And then you want to group them together based on category. So in my show notes, I have specific kitchen category groupings that I typically see in kitchens. So you can use that as a guide, a template, and then use a Post-it note to group those items. So like all cooking utensils go together, write it on a Post-it note, cooking utensils, and that's in like one area of your kitchen. Then, mixing bowls is in like another area. So write it on a Post-it note so that you have every single category of item in your kitchen on a Post-it note. You want to do this first. Once you've grouped all of your different items together, this is when you're going to take your Post-it notes and put them on drawers or cabinets where you want those items in that category to go. So let's say, by your stovetop, you want the spices. So you are going to take the spices Post-it note and put it on the cabinet or drawer near your stovetop. So then when you do go to the next step, which is putting everything away, that you know exactly where those items should go. So spices go here because you've already thought it through. This is the space planning portion of your organizing journey where you are planning out what goes in what space. So use your Post-it notes to kind of get an idea of where things should go. Once all of the categories are Post-it noted on cabinets or drawers, you get to take all of the stuff in the categories and put them into the drawers or cabinets where they belong. Now, as you're doing this, make sure that every item you actually use. So kind of like declutter as you go. And for the purpose of, our chats, declutter here just means removing unwanted things. Sometimes, especially in our kitchens, we have and keep a lot of stuff that isn't necessarily used in the kitchen. So remove those things so that they aren't in the kitchen. And that's what we mean when we say declutter. Because not every time when we declutter do we need to throw it away or donate it. Sometimes it's just decluttering it by moving it to a different room. Then you can put everything back as you kind of go through each category and declutter before you put things away. And then you can decide if an organizing tool or product would benefit your space to help you stay organized. So a good way to assess that is to ask yourself, what would be the purpose of said organizing tool? A lot of times if you keep spices in a drawer, using a spice organizer would be a helpful tool so that the spices aren't rolling around. But if you keep spices in a cabinet, you might not need an organizer if you don't have a lot of spices, or if you have a lot of parts to your cooking gadgets. Keeping them in like a bin or a basket in a cabinet might be more beneficial and help you stay more organized than just lying them on the cabinet shelf itself. So ask yourself those questions. And then once you are done, either keep the Post-it note labels up or create labels for your shelves and drawers so that everything can stay organized. Okay, so I said this was going to be a two-parter. It's actually going to end up being a three-parter because we didn't get a chance to cover junk drawers. So next week, we are going to be chatting all about junk drawers and why you should not have one in your kitchen.